Most people start their business in order to gain freedom. And we all can define freedom in different ways. But what if, say, you're a chef? And so as a chef, you decide to open a restaurant. But you find after you open the restaurant and it begins to grow and become successful, that you're spending more and more time dealing with employee issues or doing the books or securing loans instead of doing what you love and what caused you to start the business in the first place, which was cooking. Hello, I'm Eric Wright, along with my partner, Jeff Pearsall, and we're here with TREP Talks to talk about issues that are current and pressing to the entrepreneurial community and leaders everywhere. And today, we're talking about got freedom. Jeff, all entrepreneurs have certain things that they're absolutely great at, that they love doing, that they got into business for. And what I want to talk today about is how do you stay in that sweet spot?
I think this talk here is more important across the broad scope of everyone.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because happiness is driven by what one of my mentors, Dan Sullivan, the founder of Strategic Coach, calls unique ability. And when you are in your unique ability, you're in your sweet spot. And when you're in that place, you are your most productive, you are your happiest, and you also attract others and you cause great results. The problem gets into your chef's analysis. And, it was talked about in the E-Myth where I get a business started, and really what I did was I created a job for myself. And when I did that, all I did was just add just a whole set of additional risk and liabilities to have a job. And yeah, maybe I still got some kind of freedom.
Right.
Maybe it's in time or relationship or something.
But in actuality, a lot of times you don't have more freedom.
You actually created a greater marriage to that job than you had when somebody was paying you. Ultimately, this is about getting people to their unique ability. And it starts with the lead. It starts with the owner. It starts with the entrepreneur, the president, whoever that may be. But it doesn't stop there, Eric, because if I've got someone who is my controller and they need to be detail-oriented, they need to be numbers-oriented, they tend to not be as outgoing and they don't tend to be extroverted, they're more introverted, and I'm putting them in an extroverted position, this person's set up for failure from the beginning.
Right.
And you find this constantly throughout American businesses and people that are probably listening to this call. They're going, oh man, can I relate to that now?
Yeah. I think of what we used to call, I think it was the Peter Principle, where they say, people are promoted to their own level of incompetence.
Oh yeah.
And there's merit to that. I understand that principle. But a lot of times people get promoted out of their sweet spot. They get promoted out of their unique ability, and they start having to do things that they're really not made for, things that drain them instead of fueling them. Yeah. And it's important to maintain that focus. As an entrepreneur, as a business starter, you're going to have to wear a lot of hats. Yep. You're going to have to do a lot of things that are not necessarily what you love to do, what you like to do, but you always got to stay focused on moving back to that place. And how do you go about doing that, Jeff?
Well, Eric, I think one of the greatest examples of what you're referring to about how we promote people is this happens in sales all the time. You take your top salesperson and you think that they are a sales manager.
Right.
And what ends up happening is nothing but total failure. And in each of us, our learning experience is, as you spoke to, as an entrepreneur, I may be cleaning the restrooms. I may be taking out the trash. I may be doing the books. I may be doing all of these things in the early stages. And guess what? I develop a knack to be good at all of them. So I can create a long list of the things I can do.
Right.
But it's a very short list of the things that I can do that energizes me, creates great results.
Right.
And the secret to your business is to create scalability.
Right.
And to get it to a place where it's self-managed.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you do that is by identifying your unique ability and then getting the people on your team into their unique ability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they used to call it, you know, the right seat on the bus, but
Right.
it didn't have enough teeth to it to understand it's the unique ability equation that really matters.
Yeah, I think about the EOS principle of do you get it? And not only do you get it, do you understand what the job is? Do you really want it? Does this stir passion inside of you?
Right.
And then do you have the capacity to do it? Now, as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of creative ways that you can go about actually getting those sort of right people positioned where they are optimal in your organization, even if they're not in your organization, right?
This is very true. I mean, we talked about mindsets earlier in attracting, all right? But then at the same time, when you move into these partnerships and you start building out your team, there's a lot of ways to do it. Mindset begins with the first part, but unique ability is the next. And unique ability, for you personally, there's a tactical way that you can get through this, Eric. And it's to sit down with a legal pad of paper and take inventory of all the things you do in the course of a week. And then look back on that inventory and start ranking them as to the things that actually cause the greatest importance to the business and the things that cause you to get passionate.
Right.
And then start building around you the things that you shouldn't. I hate doing expense reports. It just sucks the energy out of me in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But if I give it to someone else and I never have to see it except for the check that reimburses me for my expenses, I don't lose any energy. I don't lose any sleep about it at all.
Right.
And guess what? The person doing it loves doing it for me.
Yeah, Jeff, I think you made such an important point there. And that is that when we're doing these things that don't really energize us, we are not giving someone opportunity to do it who would get energized by doing it. So we're
And
really...
we can't figure that. I mean, I'm like, you get energy?
You like doing this kind of stuff? How can that be? But it's really true. And so as a leader, we need to recognize that part of our job is creating opportunity for people. Opportunity not only to, build the widget, but the opportunity for fulfillment. And when we do not allow others to do these things that they're really passionate about, that they get energized with, well, we're not fulfilling really the big plan. When you were telling that story, Jeff, I was thinking about something I read about Warren Buffett, where he said to someone, write down the 20 things that are your top priorities in life. And so this person wrote down those 20. And then he went back and said, okay, now I want you to pick the top 5. What are the top 5? And so the guy wrote down the top 5. And then he asked the question, which is Warren Buffett classic. He said, okay, what do you do with the other 15? And the guy said, well, these are really important, and I guess I'll just work on them when I have time. And Buffett said, no. He said, tear up the list of 15 and throw them away. Don't think about it. Focus all your time and energy on the 5, because those are the only ones that you're going to be able to master that are going to bring the greatest results in the long run. Jeff.
So, when you there's a lot of business coaching that goes on out there, and they talk about, and it's a myth, know your strengths, improve your weaknesses. This is the greatest myth that you could buy into. Know your strengths and participate in them 80% of your working life, and give the weaknesses to everyone else.
Much better advice.
If you can grasp that concept, all right, and it goes counterintuitive to almost all business coaching that's out there, but I'm telling you, that business coaching mindset will set you up for failure and a lot of frustration. You've got to take the things that you're not passionate and good about and give them to someone else. And guess what? They will love doing it because they're good at doing that.
Right.
If you asked me to produce this show, okay, I would be absolutely frustrated in 5 minutes because I don't want to do it.
Right.
I don't want to sit behind and try to manage the film and manage the cameras, but turn me on to talk about the topic, you know, and this is where I get passionate and where I enjoy what I'm doing. And that's, everybody's got their unique ability. The secret as a leader is to get your people into those roles where they can perform at their greatest level.
Yeah, Jeff, this is all so true. And I think about you because I've known you for quite some time, and you're a great salesman. You've always been, you have that knack for doing that. You get energized by setting up a sale, closing the sale, following up on the sale. The whole continuum really excites you. But one thing that I have noticed about you is that over time, the deals that excite you are different.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be, you know, close 3 deals a day and we'll do this. And now it's like, close 1 good deal a month and I'll focus my energy on that. And that brings this great excitement.
And there's a great point here, Eric, and that is people have to allow for time, which is very tough in the lottery world, for that to develop. There was a day where, you know, I chased rabbits and I hunted deer.
Yeah.
You know, today, you know, I will go chase a deer, but I'm hunting elephants.
Yeah, right.
Okay? And it's a different mindset and a different mentality, but it comes with years. If I had started, I would have failed with that kind of mindset, because you don't start a new salesperson hunting for elephants.
Right.
They got to develop and they got to move through. They got to build the continuum. I think one of the things that we have to take away from this conversation that's so critical for all of our people to understand is that the entrepreneur, the leader, is really about setting the why and the what. So if I can set into motion the why and the what, the who of how something gets done comes from unique ability. So we all understand the why and the what. Now, out of understanding the why and the what, who needs to do that,
right,
all of a sudden jumps to the forefront. And you give them the empowerment of the how to go implement the why and the what. And you'll be much more successful.
You know, Jeff, in so many ways, this really comes down to freedom. And how we define freedom, how we help others, not only to define freedom, but to realize freedom on their terms, because no one else can define freedom for you. There are things that you're going to love, that you love to do, that maybe I don't love to do. That is the wonder of freedom. And when you think about freedom, Jeff, as we wind this up today, you know, how do you define that? How does an individual define freedom?
Well, you know, we know that the 4 pillars of freedom are time, relationship, money, and purpose. And ultimately, you are living in freedom in the pursuit of those 4 pillars when 80% of your time is spent in your unique ability. You will be happier, you will see freedom, and the pursuit of time, money, relationship, and purpose will come with ease.
Amazing. I can't help. We had a couple of Star Wars analogies here, and as you were talking, I was thinking of that statement where they said, "Stay on target, stay on target, stay on target," and it almost has to be a mantra for you to say, "Okay, what is my unique ability? How do I define freedom, and how do I continually move towards that?" Because as a business leader, an entrepreneur, you are inevitably going to have to wear hats that do not necessarily fit you. I want to thank you so much for being with Jeff and I today during this TREP Talk. In order to get more information on this and other subjects that are pertinent to you, go to trepfreedom.com, and I know you'll find a host of information there. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you'll join us next time.